Yankees trade Andrew Miller to the Indians. St. Petersburg, Florida. Andrew Miller was asleep at his home on nearby Davis Island when his cell phone rang at about 8:30 a.m. on Sunday. When he realized it was not his alarm, Miller glanced at the caller ID. It was Brian Cashman, the Yankees general manager. "I think I knew," Miller said. Indeed, Cashman was calling to tell Miller that he had been traded to the Cleveland Indians for 4 minor leaguers, including outfielder Clint Frazier, the top-rated prospect in the Indians system. Miller was the second top-flight reliever the Yankees had jettisoned in the last week. The previous trade, last Monday's deal sending Aroldis Chapman to the Chicago Cubs, had largely been expected because Chapman was set to become a free agent at the end of the season and had rebuffed the Yankees' interest in a contract extension. The Miller trade, however, reverberated through the clubhouse as players came to the realization that the Yankees, for the first time in decades, had placed the future ahead of the present. The closer role will now be turned over to Dellin Betances, the remaining member of the Yankees' formerly formidable bullpen triumvirate. But even he was stunned at what the Yankees had done. "I'm still trying to get over the fact that we traded the best of the best," Betances said after the Yankees' 5-3 loss to the Rays on Sunday. What sort of impact 3 consecutive losses, including one on Friday with the owner Hal Steinbrenner watching from the suite, had on the decision was not clear, but Cashman went to Steinbrenner late Saturday night to get approval to deal Miller. Cashman then worked through the night to complete the trade, wrapping it up not long after daybreak. Cashman then moved quickly to acquire reliever Tyler Clippard from the Arizona Diamondbacks for the minor league pitcher Vicente Campos, a deal he pointed to as proof, along with the Yankees' reacquisition of Adam Warren in the Chapman deal, that he was not giving up on this season. Cashman said the Yankees could make more trades before the non-waiver deadline at 4 p.m. Eastern on Monday, but even so, he reiterated that the team was unlikely to immediately address its biggest current need, its lagging offense. "We are trying to get back to a situation where we can build a newer team, and a sustainable one," Cashman said in a conference call with reporters. Having acquired Frazier, a 2013 first-round draft pick, and the left-handed pitcher Justus Sheffield, a 2014 first-rounder, from the Indians, along with shortstop Gleyber Torres from the Cubs, the Yankees now have 7 players rated on Baseball America's mid-season list of the game's top prospects. The Yankees also got 2 relievers from the Indians, the right-handers Ben Heller and J.P. Feyereisen. Cashman described Frazier, whose shock of bushy red hair will probably meet with a barber's razor soon, as a player with an electric bat and great energy who shows up at the national anthem in a dirty uniform. Yankees pitcher Chad Green faced Frazier in the Class A Midwest League in 2014, a season in which Frazier struck out in more than a third of his at-bats. Green described him as overmatched at the time of their meeting but said he had heard that Frazier had improved. Regardless, the trades are certain to excite a segment of Yankees fans who have long awaited an acknowledgement that the team, which has not won a playoff game since 2012, needs to sell off some top assets to build for the future. The trades of Miller and Chapman and the expiration of contracts for Mark Teixeira, Carlos Beltran and Ivan Nova will free more than $60 million from next year's payroll, giving the Yankees the cash to pursue free agents along with the prospects to land the bigger fish they typically chase, either before Monday's deadline or in the offseason. The elite pitchers Chris Sale of the Chicago White Sox and Chris Archer of the Tampa Bay Rays, who have big personalities and team-friendly contracts, seem to fit that profile. Otherwise, the players the Yankees have acquired over the past week are not likely to have an effect soon, with Cashman saying that only Heller could join the Major League squad this season. Cashman said Frazier could reach the majors next year, although he has played just 5 games at the Class AAA level. The other prospects are mostly at the Class A level. Not surprisingly, then, there was little enthusiasm in the Yankees clubhouse over the Miller trade. While the Yankees have played far below expectations, entering Sunday 6.5 games out of first place in the American League East and 4.5 out of a wild-card berth, Toronto and Texas were 6 and 7 games out on the same date last season, and they won their divisions after adding players at the trading deadline. As the Yankees let go of Miller, who has 2 years remaining on a 4-year, $36 million contract and was an all-star this season, it was hard for the team's players to voice support for its direction. "We're probably not as good a team as we were 10 days ago, 7 days ago," third baseman Chase Headley said. Headley was relieved to have left San Diego, where the management 1 year spent more on hiring the announcer Dick Henberg than it did on most of the players. Brian McCann, now the Yankees catcher, turned down a contract extension with Atlanta because he did not want to be part of a rebuilding team. "Nobody in here wanted to see him go," McCann said of Miller. Manager Joe Girardi said the experience of selling off assets at the trade deadline was not familiar, and he acknowledged that he might have to give his players a pep talk. But he bristled at the idea that the Yankees were giving up on this season. "I don't ever wave a white flag," he said. "This organization never waves a white flag. You know, obviously, we've made some trades that people could view it as that. I don't view it as that, and they better not view it in that room as that. Go out and compete and see where we fall."